good idea to go a little bit dressed up if you have been invited to a party. So let's all just use a little bit of makeup, just very simple, flawless makeup, which doesn't show like you've gotten ready too much. At the same time, it adds that little bit of spark. The first process, now after I've washed my face, I've used a cleanser. The first thing that I do is use the first essential facial toner mist. This is the Punch Push fragrance. I put it all over my face. This makes me feel very, very refreshed. The next step is to use the MAC Prep and Prime. It's a primer and it has a little bit of a shine. So just a little bit, and I'm going to put it all over my face. It's always a very important step while you're getting ready is to moisturize your face, because it gives that extra layer all over your face and it makes sure that the makeup that you're using is not going to spoil your skin at all. So as a part of a skincare regime, please always use a good moisturizer or a good primer before you begin the process of applying, even if it's very little makeup, even if it's just a basic makeup, always use a primer or a moisturizer. Okay, so next I'm going to use a color corrector for my under eyes. So I'm going to go with the dark peach shade of Bobbi Brown. I'm going to add this color corrector under my eyes. And a little bit next to my nose bridge. That's it. I'm going to use two foundations. The first one is MAC Matchmaster in the shade 1.5, and the second one is MAC Studio Fix Fluid. Now this is in the shade NC27. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little bit, just 2 pumps of this and 1 drop of this. Make sure that you have also matched the same shade of foundation on your neck as your face. You don't want them to be in the same shade. My next step is to use my beauty blender. I'm just going to spread it all over my face. Next step, once this has gone in, is to use my concealer. So I'm going to use the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in the shade Medium to Dark Caramel. So you can also go with a lighter shade if you want a brighter look, but the reason I take a slightly darker shade is because I want to clearly hide my dark circles. I have a little bit of a zit over here, so I'm going to cover that as well with my concealer. Oh. So once I've blended in the foundation and the concealer, my next step would be to use a setting powder, that is MAC Mineralize Skin Finish, right? I'm going to use this, and this is the shade Medium Plus. This helps to mattify the face a little, right? So especially in areas where it's very, very humid, right? A lot of makeup that we put will literally melt away because of the humidity. So it's always a good idea to mattify your face, and using a setting powder helps your makeup stay longer. So this is a process. Some of the makeup artists would call it baking. I honestly feel that it's an important step if you want long-lasting makeup. So done. Now we're going to work on the eyes first. I'm going to use my NARS eye palette. It is the Wanted NARS eye palette. Have a look. It has almost all the shades that you need for any of the looks. It's a beautiful palette. I am going to use, for my eyebrows, I try to use a mix of the black and the brown. So instead of starting from the beginning, I like to give it a little bit of the subtle look. And I'm just going to lightly. So if you look at the difference, I'm not starting from the beginning, I'm actually starting from here. And I'm going to darken my eyebrows a little bit. I'm not changing the shape of my current eyebrows. I think my eyebrows are good, they have good shape. So I'm going to stick to this shape. I'm just going to add a little bit to darken it. See? Right? That's it. That's all you need. After that, I will use the lightest shade on this palette, and I am going to give it a little bit of an outline, my eyebrows. Right, that's done. Now, I'm going to use a transparent mascara. This is the brand Miss Claire. You get a lot of good brands, of course. So I'm just using this to slightly give it a shape. I'm just going to comb my eyebrows a little bit, and that's it. That's all you need. Okay, moving on. So my next step would be to work on the eyelids. Okay. Now for my eyeshadow, I'm going to use this brush. This is MAC Studio Professional Eyeshadow Brush. This one. So it's a little bit flat over here. And I'm going to use the same palette, which is the Narcissist palette. This one. I am going to use this shade just to give a little bit of an outline to my eyes. Have a look. It is a deeper magenta sort of an outline that I have given, but it's only the outer layer. Look at this. That's it. The next step is to give a little bit of a highlight. So for this I'm going to use. So now I'm going to give it a little bit of a gloss eyeshadow. I'm going to use a gloss eyeshadow in the shade Pink Lemonade. Right? Sometimes I'm just going to. You could use any glossy eyeshadow towards the inner area of your eye. Next I'm going to use the Clinique Gold Shaper for Eyes. So this is what it looks like. It is in the shade 201 Black Gold. Right? This I'm going to use to outline my eyes. On the bottom, I only like to use very little. I don't use it all the way in, okay? I'm only going to use it on the outer lines. And on the top, I'm going to use it in the inner lid. That's it. Okay, the next step would be to gently outline your eyes. Now, this is a tricky step and a lot of us struggle in using an eyeliner. So I'm going to show you a very simple trick which will make it so much easier for you. So whenever you're using an eyeliner, all you need to do is make a small line as an extension of the outer line at the bottom. Okay, just make an extension of that. do is you need to just work inwards and shape it up. Go along the outer line. And continuously darken it as you move inside. Have a look. That's perfect. Okay, so eyeliner done. Next step is to use an eyeshadow, a mascara. Now I personally, for a Zoom meeting, I just feel like you don't need a lot of mascara. You don't need any of those artificial eyelashes, especially when you're in a Zoom meeting, right? So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to use my transparent mascara once again. And then after this, I will also add. So I'm using the Sumptuous Extreme Lash Multiplying Volume Mascara by Estee Lauder. This gives a lot of volume. Trust me, it will give you a lot of volume. Now for contouring, Studio Fix Perfecting Stick, MAC Studio Fix Perfecting Stick in the shade NC50. So I'm just going to add done. So almost towards the end of this. Now the next step is to use your blush. So I'm going to use a thinner brush, the Bobbi Brown blush in the shade Berry. This is the shade Berry 34. So this is a very deep, very deep, very pigmented blush. I would suggest you just use a little bit. Look how pigmented it is. Just a little bit and the color came through. That's it. The next step is to use a highlighter. So for the highlighter, I will be using the MAC New Romance Mineralize Blush. This gives the perfect highlighting effect. So I'm going to take a little bit. Right on my cheekbones, right under my eye, to add a little bit here. That's it. Done. Next we'll move on to the lips. So for the lips, I'm going to use a lip liner to give my lips the perfect contouring. So this is the lip liner by K Beauty. It is in the shade Hype. On the top, just outlining my lips a little bit. That's it. The next step, I'm going to use I need a little bit of a color pop because I've used very little makeup all over my face. So now I'm going to use a little bit of color pop. Now this is the lip shade I'm using. This is by Colorbar, and the shade I'm using is the 007 Diviner. It's a nice bright pink color. Because I'm not a big fan of colored lips, right? I'm going to mattify it a little bit, and I am going to use a little bit of this. I am going to use my beauty blender. And perfect. Now if you want a little more pop of color, you can actually use a lip gloss on top. So I'm going to use the Clinique lip gloss, and this is in the shade 09 Juicy Apple. Perfect. At the end, I am going to use the MAC Prep Plus Prime Fix. This is the setting spray. So I'm just going to keep it a little bit away from my eyes. And that's it. It's the final mic makeup look, and I'm ready for my Zoom party. I hope you all enjoyed the video. You will find a link and the names of all the products that I've used in this tutorial. Do DM me if you want any further information, and if you have any suggestions on the next tutorial, please let me know.